No, tell us secrets, Kat.
What's crack-a-lackin'?
Got to celebrate my girls' graduation this last weekend in Texas Christian University.
I think that's awesome. All right, so now we have to talk to the heat of the sun.
Okay,
Oh, it's on?
If you abuse it, I'm just going to block your name.
Right,
Yes.
right.
That's
And
all.
I said your name. You always let me
Kandi,
say your name. I'm
I
sorry.
do. No, it's
I
fine.
just usually don't do that.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Kandi Thompson Garrett Gray. So while I just returned from Norway and had such a super awesome time, thank you guys for joining us for a couple of episodes in Norway. Garrett is actually on vacation now, and so I have the honor and the privilege of introducing and interviewing one of the newest supervisors, Logan Carnell. So welcome, Logan.
Thank you.
Yes, and so just to remind you guys, this is part of our Getting to Know Your Supervisor series. And so we have 5 supervisors in Amador County. And Logan, you are supervisor for District
4.
4, which is upcountry.
No, it's Amador City, Sutter Creek, and Pine Grove.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The lines throw me off every time.
Well, there's 4 districts that are large and make sense, and then there's one that weaves its way through them all. So mine goes from downtown Amador City all the way to the McCullough River, out under Ponderosa.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting. So we're super excited to have you. And so Logan, you were elected in March of last year.
Correct.
And you took office in January.
Took office in January, 9 months later. That's a long 9 months.
That is a long
It's
9
months of people saying, how come you're not fixing this? And I'm not in office yet.
Isn't that interesting that they do the election that soon?
Yeah, if you win in the primary, then you have a long wait. So
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, we're so excited to learn a little bit more about you. So, you and I went to school together. Well, at the same time, right? We never were in a school together, but we just went at the same time.
Were you at Argonaut?
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So, well, tell us a little bit about where you came from and a little bit about like what brought you here today.
I was born in Jackson Hospital and I've lived in Pioneer, Pine Grove, Jackson, and Sutter Creek, so the whole county.
Okay.
And went to elementary school in Pine Grove, went to Amador High School, met my wife. Well, we weren't married then, but met her at Amador High School. And then I joined the military and did my sentence. And when I got back, I came home and I went to buy groceries at Safeway, and my wife was working at Safeway, and we were married 4 months later. So
I love that.
Yeah.
So you guys were not together as a couple in high school. You just met.
We were for about 2 days. And I called her house and her mom yelled at me, and which I have such respect. Like, that's what all moms should do.
Yes.
Run boys off.
Yes.
But she ran me off, so that was it. It was about 2 days, and then we really never spoke again for, I guess, about 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it was definitely meant to be.
Yeah, her mother protected us.
That's right. That's super
Yeah.
awesome. Well, and now you have one daughter.
One daughter. She graduated from Amador
2021.
2021. Yeah. Okay.
Same year as my girls.
And she's just about, I think she has 1 semester left at Fresno State.
Oh, good for her. That's so exciting. And then you welcomed grandbaby number 1, which is the only grandbaby.
Oh yeah, I have a grandbaby now, which it's kind of her fault that I ran, because I basically ran because I want my kid to be able to raise her kids here.
Yes.
So that flavor affects every decision that I make.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Well, so awesome to have you being a local and now being involved in local government. I love that. Like, I mean, we love people that come in from outside of the area and really just completely, get involved in the community and get to know it and then run, and that's awesome. But it's always fun to have someone that was born and raised in this area.
You need a few people around that have been around.
Yeah.
There's history. I was listening to somebody disagreeing with someone else, and I don't think they realized that person had donated the land that they were standing on.
Oh my gosh.
And that was in a school-related thing. But,
Yeah.
a lot of the land, like where the football field was, donated land.
Right.
So, yeah, we should just treat those people with a little bit of
Yeah.
difference, I guess.
Well, for sure. And I mean, there is a lot to do with the history in the county and where things came from. There is a lot of value in knowing that. It can help make decisions one way or another. I know Pat Crew, when we had him and we interviewed him, he was born and raised here too.
Mm-hmm,
I mean,
right over there.
Yes, he said he's lived like he's lived in 2 houses and they're like 2 miles apart his entire life. I love that. That was super awesome. Well, okay, so Logan, you have been in office since January.
Yes.
Never having been in any kind of a political office before, correct?
No.
Yes.
No.
And not even in any realm. I mean, you've not ever been like at school board meetings or like really super involved in politics. You just decided to run to make a difference.
Correct. Yes. No, I was aware that the politics were going on, but I was busy doing other things. So
Right.
there came a point when it's our turn, it's our time. And
right.
so if you want to complain,
That's
involved.
exactly right. Yeah, you got to be real careful with that.
but it's humbling because you find out most of the things you complained about, once you get all the details, you go, oh, that's why they do that.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, which is very true.
They're not
in
all
most things.
sinister and corrupt. They actually are, there's a lot of details involved in every decision. So.
That's so true. And so much of what we don't see.
And if you're from here, those who stayed, which I'd like more young people to stay and have families here, but
Yes.
those who stayed ended up working in different areas. And so now I have close friends that are high up at the water agency, CAL FIRE, fire departments, all of the
Yes.
places, and it's actually caused us to, as entities, get along better.
I love that. It is. It's fun I always think that too, like being a business owner in this area and the connections that we have. Like it's literally, we just have a high school reunion with all the business owners,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's super fun. Well, Logan, you also are a business owner. So,
Yes.
so this is Logan, everyone. When you've heard of Logan, he's won Best of Amador time and time and time again. This is Logan. And you've done some really amazing stuff with wood. You're not just, a tree guy, but like we've gone to Kazad's, cave and seen the wood that what is it? Do you mill it? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, you mill that.
Are you so proud of me that I even knew that term?
That's very impressed. She should run for office.
Right?
Did.
Yeah, I did that. So it was just amazing. So what's happening with your business right now while you're a supervisor?
So I probably cut it in half, which was that's a difficult decision. You're sitting there with your family, and the second you put campaign signs up, you're basically telling the world, maybe he's not even in business anymore.
Right.
So I work Monday and Tuesday in the office, and the way my job works, I get done at 2, so I'm there every afternoon from about 2 to 4 to 5, and the rest of the time I'm out in the community, and I actually learned most of what I learned about our community by standing in your driveway while we're looking at your trees.
Yeah.
And so I know all the roads and all the issues in every subdivision because I'm there with the people.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
And it's pretty important too because we have a lot of people that work for the county, and they know that I'm one of them.
Right.
I'm working right there with them.
Yep.
I got blood and sweat on me too.
I love that. Yeah, you've probably done many jobs for the people that
Yes.
you're now in the county building with. Yes. So what is one of your favorite things that you've done so far that you've been able to be a part of?
What can I say out loud?
I said to Pat, tell us your secrets, Pat. Tell us your secrets, Logan.
Well, it's all public information.
Yes.
So one of the things I walk around with, I have a budget with me at almost all times. And anybody has questions, I go, this is your money. One of my favorite things is I don't allow anybody in any meeting that I'm in to describe the money that we're speaking of with possessive personal pronouns. Because we'll be talking about budgets and they'll say, that's my money. And I say, no, that's not your money. We are the employees of those people.
Right. That's good.
And we had a pretty major budget crisis this year, and I was able to tell them, look, there's been 10,000 meetings around dinner tables about how to figure out how to work life with less. So we need to be here in this building doing the exact same thing.
Right.
Because our employers have already had to do it. One of the reasons we had a budget problem is sales tax was down by about $1 million of what was projected.
Wow.
So that means our employers all took a pay cut.
That's right. Yep, you're exactly right.
And then we're, fighting over more raises. And I'm going, how are we getting raises and they're getting pay cuts? Not that I don't want some raises for some folks, but...
Right. No, that's right.
My favorite thing is you're able to help a lot of people.
I love that.
And that sounds sappy, but it's just true.
No, it is
You
true.
can make a phone call, and people answer the phone when I call now.
They do, yeah.
That's kind of enjoyable. But,
Yes,
yeah.
that's hilarious. It is kind of fun to know that like they loved you before, but now they know that you've got a little bit of clout behind you. So answering that phone might make a little difference,
Yeah,
right?
it does.
I love that.
It's helpful.
That's awesome. And so, where do you see yourself going with politics? I mean, are you? I mean, it's probably too soon to say like you're going to run for another term or what. But I mean, do you? When we were talking earlier, you love what you're doing right now.
I do. I actually shockingly enjoy it more than I thought. I thought I was going to go sacrifice my life for 4 years and endure the. It's the same experience I had in business. This county's full of a ton of amazing people. Like, I think I've done about 8,000 tree jobs in my career.
Wow.
And 9,990 something of them have been enjoyable.
Right.
And I can go to the grocery store and bump into people and we're friends and they ask how my kid is and they,
Right.
So I always heard that it was not as kind down there in the county offices, but I almost wonder if people don't treat you the way you treat them.
That's right. That's what I always think too.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And so, you are also a pastor.
I am.
Tell us about that. Like, I love that you're a pastor. I love that you and your family travel the world and you minister to so many people, and it is such an awesome thing to watch. So how did you get into ministry? Kind of what is your capacity now? And tell us a little bit about what you've done. Like, you've been to New Guinea, right?
I spent every January for 17 years in Papua New Guinea, so
I love that.
been a year and a half way out in the. When I first got to the jungle village, they didn't know what money was, which is just an interesting aside. Watching money enter a society, and then watching the effects that it had on a society.
Wow.
It's got a little petri dish. You get to.
Yeah.
It's just a smaller version of the world.
Yeah.
Watching people who once got along so well. And the
Yeah.
enmity now between them,
Yeah.
and families ripped in twain over finances. That was pretty interesting. But
Yeah.
in 2005, my wife and I took off and met a missionary in Papua New Guinea, and then ended up that year going to 5 different countries, and it just sort of happened by accident. But we ended up in 30-something countries all over the world. So,
That's
and then we have a
amazing.
little tiny, teeny church here by intention. The building's only big enough to fit about 40 people, but that church is what funds all of that. We don't raise any money or ask for money or
Wow.
mention money or anything. It's just, that's our little baby. 95% of what comes into the church goes
That's
out,
amazing.
and the 5% is for the government.
I love that. And what a fun, when you're tithing there, I mean, of course, when you're tithing, it's the Lord's, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, whatever the Lord's going to do with it, it's not up to me. But when you're tithing in a church that like this, you get to actually watch where it's going. That's
Goes
super.
straight to where it's headed.
I love that.
Exactly. 96%. It's every year it's around 96, 95, 97% of the money goes out.
That's amazing.
You got to have insurance, and you got to have an accountant, and that's about
Right,
it.
right.
Yeah.
No, that's so exciting. And so I watched, so there's a program called ILI, International Leadership Institute. Have you ever heard of that? It's been in a couple of the churches here. It's where, it's just a worldwide program that comes into churches and teaches people that you don't have to have letters or a title behind your name to do what the Lord is calling you to do. Like, all of us are called to disciple.
Yes.
And so they come in and they teach you. It's 3 days. Nobody's paid. It is the coolest thing because everybody's volunteering. So like the food is donated. Whoever's coming in to speak, you put them up in houses. I mean, and basically it's little small groups, and you're taught for 3 days what the Bible says about you being a disciple and how to make that happen, how to go out. And to be honest, that's what really made me feel like, oh my gosh, I myself can make a difference. Like, I actually can talk to people and share with people the love of the Lord, and I don't have to be a pastor or have any kind of theology degree or anything like that. And so in that course, they show a video about a missionary that goes to Papua New Guinea. And it is, do you remember that, Adam? And it is so outstanding.
Papua New Guinea was the last frontier, because there's about 3,000 languages in the world. 800 of them are on that little island.
Wow.
So as far as reaching the unreached, which is the dream, you can do it, and there's no roads. The geography is so challenging that there's just remote areas still. So that was, so I went to a little bit of seminary here in America, and I sat in the back of the room one day, and I had a notepad and a pencil, and I looked. Everybody had their laptops out, and this guy was on eBay. This guy was playing a video game, and that guy was Googling everything the teacher said and correcting him if he missed the date. And something about it, I just didn't. It didn't fit me. So I'll say that. So I took off, because the idea of disciple is actually you follow somebody. The word actually means the dust from their feet covers your head, which means you follow somebody and you watch how they do it. And I think we're sitting in classes with our computers, and we get out and we have a degree that says now we have the care of people's souls. And
that's right.
I have to garner my opinion.
No. This is where you're able to speak it, but I get it. You're in a political thing. One thing I love about being a private business owner is, I mean, as you know, the name of our company is Divine Properties, right? And it's a ministry first. So no matter what we do, and I mean, even what you're doing, it's a ministry first. Even as a supervisor, like the Lord calls us to be where we're at for a reason. And so I love that. And I think that this is a really, really awesome time. Really, like, it's, when they say the harvest is ripe, like this, you're seeing it right now.
You want to know something crazy? I went to the New Supervisors Institute in LA, and we all sat in a room, and they went around the room and asked what everybody's former profession was. 10% of all of the new supervisors in the entire state of California were pastors.
That's crazy.
Which I started saying, okay, what does this mean?
Right.
Why have people who always separated? Which, there is the necessary separation of. I'm not here to instill my moral values on someone else.
Right.
But for everybody to all of a sudden say, hey, it's time to.
Right.
We better start speaking out.
Yeah, time to get involved. Time to step up and let your voice be heard.
Which is ironic too, in order to get anything done, to take any of our religion, for lack of a better word, out of it. The only way to actually get anything done is to associate with people with love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and long suffering, self-control. It's just ironic that the only way to actually get things done, even in the secular world, is sort of the fruit of.
It is the fruit of the Spirit. Yeah.
Somehow.
That's awesome. Well, and even with the supervisors that were just sworn in, so we were at your swearing in, and it was you and Dan Epperson and Pat Crew. So 2 of the 3 supervisors that just joined Amador County are pastors. I loved that. I thought that was super interesting too.
It might make a few people nervous, but I know Dan well enough, and I tell you, for me, we didn't run to try to make the county Christian.
Not at all. And that's the coolest thing, is that anybody that knows you and anybody that knows Dan just knows your heart and knows your willingness to serve. And that's really what it is. I mean, it's not that you're trying to convert Amador County, or that the 10% are trying to convert the state. It's that you have skills and abilities and a servant, attitude.
I would guess one of the largest distinctions is we've all looked at politics, and we're starting to question whether they're not doing what they're doing for personal gain and power. And like a biblical definition of leadership is you just took the lowest position.
That's right.
Like those who will be great will be the least, something along those lines. And so like a servant's heart, and I think a lot of us were just curious if you can even prosper at all in politics with that mindset of I am now officially one of the 5 lowest ranking employees in the county.
Isn't that crazy?
And that's how I view it.
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
And that's the best way to do it, where you're not better than anyone. You're now the servant of everyone.
The least of them.
Yep,
actually.
that's right.
So.
I love that. Well, we are so grateful to have had you here. So tell us in our final moments, what is something you plan on doing? What is something that you'd like to see done? What is, what do you want to close with that everybody either knows about you or knows about what's going to come? Anything that you want us to
as far as the county goes?
County goes with what you're doing. Yeah, just what do you want to leave the community with? Talk about open-ended, right?
Yeah. I would say we had a huge budget crisis, and I think it was I was grateful for it. It allowed us to sort of really refocus. There's a lot of plans for the roads, which I know is the number one complaint in the community, and that is moving forward, and that's a good thing. And I guess I'm excited about how the next few years are going to go. And if I continue to find nobility in it, I can't make any promises. Today's got enough trouble of its own, but thus far it's been quite enjoyable. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Logan.
Yep.
If anybody wants to reach you, they contact the county office. Correct?
I give my number out, and the number at the office phone goes directly. If I don't pick it up there, it goes directly to my cell phone. It's the best way to get a hold of me. I don't know how much time I have, but I'm not an email guy, so if I see that my phone's ringing from somebody internally, I just walk down to their office and say, "What did you want?" and if I get an email, I call them. So it's 209-223-6494, and that'll go to my cell phone, and I'm there 24/7.
Awesome. And we'll make sure that we put that underneath also so people can pick that up. But
there is an email address too, but
probably I'm probably not going to get you by email, right?
Well, it's so amazing talking to people face to face and seeing their reactions and seeing their heart, how much less confusion there is as to what their intent was when they were speaking.
Right.
And it might cause us to get along a little better. Just a funny old concept.
Well, we are very blessed to have you, and I know our community is benefiting greatly by having you. So thank you so much for being a part of this. We appreciate you, Logan, and we're excited to see what you do.
All right. Thanks.
Provided in this podcast is for general informational purposes only. All opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and do not reflect the official stance of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services or Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Divine Properties or any affiliated entities. This podcast does not constitute legal, financial, or real estate advice, and listeners are encouraged to consult with qualified professionals regarding their specific needs. While we strive to provide accurate information, we make no guarantees regarding the completeness or reliability of any information discussed. We are not responsible for any actions taken by listeners based on the content of this podcast. Additionally, topics covered in the podcast are based on the host's experience and opinions and may not apply to all situations. Listeners are reminded that real estate laws and regulations may vary by location, and information may become outdated over time. By listening to this podcast, you agree to release the host, guests, and any associated entities from any liability related to the topics discussed.